episode 22 of Empathic Action. Now, you may be wondering, what do I mean by empathic action? So I thought I would go back to the genesis of the term, which actually is my doctoral work. So this is my dissertation. I think it's upside down. Voila. Okay. And I thought I would describe to you the definition that I used for empathy, and then something that I quoted from someone else about leveraging or deploying our empathy for pro-social purposes, and then talk a little bit about what empathic action means to me today. So I will put up the formal definition so you can read it on screen while I read it out from this document, but it is like full-on academic language. I wrote, empathy is the manifestation of a symbiotic fusion between affective and cognitive responses to another's condition, whereby a sense of understanding, kinship, and engagement occurs naturally and on a level playing field. You know, it's funny because when I read the subsequent paragraphs that unpack that definition, I still stand by it, but I totally recognize it's way over the top and jargony. So now my working definition of title is empathy is the innate trait that unites us in our common humanity. And in a future episode, I will elaborate on that with pleasure. But I want to talk about this idea of empathic action. So Goodman in 2000 pointed out, and I will let you follow along on the screen here, there is a difference between using empathy to motivate altruistic or helping behavior and using empathy to encourage social activism and support for social justice. Thus, it is important that we encourage people to see beyond aiding an individual in a particular situation to supporting societal changes in order to improve the lives of those who face systemic victimization. And so, you know, the definition of empathic action is acting on empathy for others. And I have a very specific idea around empathy, which is different than pity, sympathy, and compassion. So one day, one of the episodes will be about this continuum. But empathy for me is that we share a common humanity. So we may be born to different circumstances and certainly have different lived experiences, but we all share in the fact that we were born, live a life, and come to and die. So we share being human. That's what we have in common. And when we empathize with that sort of understanding that there's no difference between us, we are all human, I think that there's a real richness to empathy. And so acting on empathy is not coming from a pity paradigm of a power differential where, oh, you poor person, let me help you out. It comes from a place like, you and I are both humans, and you know, circumstances made it such that you are experiencing what you're experiencing. And if you're in pain or hurting in some way or suffering, how can I be of help to you? And that's what empathic action is about. So I think this COVID-19 moment presents us with an opportunity to engage in empathy for people who are suffering from the illness. Certainly anybody who's on the front lines, whether it's in the healthcare system or somebody working in the service industry, everybody who's involved right now in the moment on a granular level deserves empathy. But I think we also need to engage in some empathic action around, you know, the reflection first, and then decisions that we make, whether it's policy-wide or by voting, or you know, clamoring for some change so that we can create a more just and equitable and sustainable society. And that's what Goodman is calling us to do. That it's great to have empathy and to act on that empathy on a person-to-person basis, but we should also look at societal structures and create more empathic conditions for more people in society to flourish. So that's what I wanted to talk about today, coming from my PhD 2011 my goodness, I actually came across even the notice for my defense walking down memory lane here. Alrighty, have a good day. Speak to you tomorrow.